Hello and welcome to the EMS One Katowice final. We are coming to you from the Spodek Arena in glorious Poland. I can tell you it's glorious because it is sunny outside, promises to be a lovely spring day, and it's going to get really lovely in here, and warm and intense. Why, you may ask? Because we've got 16 of the best, if not the 16 best Counter-Strike teams in the world at the moment. They've descended on the arena. They're here for you to play it out for what can only be described as a real big deal. That is $250,000 on the line right now. These guys are playing for you, but I'm not going to be the only one talking to you. I'm joined by, I'm going to say proud to be joined by a person with a veritable smorgasbord of industry knowledge, understanding Counter-Strike. Scott.
Sean.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I mean, like you said, this is epic. $250,000, or what it sounds even sexier, $250,000.
$250,000. That's a big deal. That's
a very big deal.
That's a very big deal, and it's a really big deal because when we look at this kind of tournament, this is something which they did at DreamHack. But can you tell us a little bit about how this has come to be this huge prize pot?
Yeah. So as you alluded to, this is the second $250,000 prize purse. First one about 4 months ago, around Thanksgiving time, at DreamHack Winter, and it's basically fan funded, if you will, for lack of a better word.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. Via Valve and some of the stuff they started doing with their Dota product and how they basically monetize stuff for fans and for teams, they're slowly starting to add a lot of these elements into Counter-Strike Go. So basically, in a nutshell, you're playing the game, match ends, a case drops for you, right? In esports, there's all sorts of different cases, but one of them is an esports case. Well, to open that case, which inside is going to be some sort of gun skin, got to buy a key. So you go to their store, you buy yourself an esports key, you open that case up, and you might get something really cool, or in my case, you don't get good stuff. And basically, Valve takes all the esport key money, keeps it in a big kitty. So about 4 months ago, they said, hey, DreamHack, why don't you throw a really cool Counter-Strike Go tournament?
Which is awesome.
Gave them the prize purse. And on the tournament organizer side, that is the hardest single piece of revenue to find from a sponsor because it goes into the ether. It's not banners, it's not logos on stuff, it's just money given to teams, which is obviously very important, but it's a hard thing to get $250,000 to just give away, right? It's a hard sell. So Valve is taking that, and I should say the fans have taken that away from the tournament staff to worry about. So 4 months ago, DreamHack got the big nod. Obviously, here we are at EMS One, and ESL has been given the next kitty of $250,000. And again, all based on Valve being able to grab it from the fans in exchange for some skins, is funding this. And I keep doing my logic of, okay, every 3 or 4 months, are we going to be at $1 million by the end of this year?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, we think we're basically 4 months ago. As you said, we're already $500,000 has gone out there, which is just great. I mean, that's great to be putting in there. It's great for the teams to be taking out, and it means that we can put on these amazing shows. And I mean, it promises to be an absolutely phenomenal weekend. And I know that if you're watching at home, you're going to want to get involved. You make sure you can tweet at us. There's at ESL, and of course, use the hashtag EMS One as one word, one spelt out.
Yep.
O-N-E. But that's not even the most exciting thing. The most exciting is these teams that we have here. They really are the creme de la creme. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. We've got teams that are looking to prove stuff, teams that are, flying high, teams that, are coming in, and this is a chance for them to really, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, let's go in and have a look at the teams that we've taken here and how they've actually arrived at the event today.
Sure.
Today. And important to mention in that is that this is a 4-day event. We have today just the teams that are playing each other. Can you tell us a little bit about the teams that we have today?
Yeah, basically we're in a group play system today. So there's 4 groups, and it's what is now referred to as the GSL style of group play. It's not an old school round robin where everybody plays everybody and then 2 come out based on points. It's literally 4 little double elimination tournaments. So they seeded each group. So today 1's going to play 4 and 2's going to play 3. And then winners play, losers play. And again, little double elimination. So they are best of 1s, which in this game is deadly because you don't get a chance to fix any mistakes. Best of 1, especially depending on what side you start on. So the way they all got here, you can see the groups in front of you, but basically they first off invited the top 8 teams of DreamHack Winter, right? So
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that got us Fnatic, Ninja in Pajamas, obviously Titans, Dignitas, LDLC, LGB eSports, Complexity, and Astana Dragons, ex-Astana Dragons, now known as Hellraisers.
And those guys are all split across those 4 groups that you can see in front of you, and then we're going to now look at how the other teams seeded into that.
And then what they also did is they did a qualification system here in Europe, and that gave us Na'Vi, Clan Mystic, Reason, 3D Max, Mouse Sports, and the hometown favorites, virtus.pro.
Virtus.pro.
And then, since, there's parts of the world that play Counter-Strike, but they didn't do qualifiers for, they invited iBuyPower from North America, and they invited Voxamiro from Australia.
Which is awesome to have them here as well. That's
very cool.
Really, really cool.
And that's how we got there. And again, 4 little double elimination brackets today. You're not going to see the players today. We've sequestered them away in a different part of the venue. The venue is actually not even open today in the sense of spectators. So, for all the games, everyone's kind of playing off camera, if you will. So we will try to bring you players, interviews, those kind of things, but you're not going to see them playing until they hit the stage tomorrow. And that's when you, big fella, will move to the big stage, right?
That's when we'll move to the big stage, when we get the actual live audience, when the people start coming in. It promises to be absolutely phenomenal. Starting off today, we're actually going first into the B bracket, as I believe. And when we're looking at that, we've got a matchup there from the guys, NiP. They had a I'd say a good time at DreamHack, but they didn't have the time they wanted, let's say, against the friends 3D Max.
Yep.
Promises to be a good game.
Yeah, and NiP even says, coming out of DreamHack winner, they were okay with second place. A lot of people are saying that the Fnatic win was actually a fluke. A lot of people are saying, no, it wasn't.
Big words.
Yeah, big words, right? Well, there's always trash talk in Counter-Strike, right?
It's part and parcel.
And one of the storylines of that tournament that we even talked about was, at that time, NiP had an incredible amount of camera crews following them.
For
documentary
sure.
crews.
I remember seeing them. They had just basically it was like some sort of MTV Real World, following them around, interviews
TV show,
before,
basically.
after. How do they make you feel? And you can't tell me that doesn't have some sort of toll on you, as you've got to be pretty on your point to be able to push all that out of your mind.
Because, I guess you're supposed to always be yourself, but when you know that all these cameras are around, you're not. You're going to tone down how you talk to your teammates if you're mad. All those kind of things kind of get tempered, right? And I talked to Freiburg a few minutes ago, right before they sat down, and I basically asked him that, and he's like, "Oh, no offense to the TV crew, we loved it. We loved doing it for our fans and everything.
Experience,
but a huge weight off their shoulders, not having." They still have their own camera crews, their internal stuff, but not what was going on at DreamHack Winter. And he basically, I said, "How do you feel?" And he's like, "We're very, very hungry." But they're also very, very nervous about 3D Max. Best of 1, you never know. It depends on the map, then it depends on that side. And there's no chance to give away a map.
Well, that's actually an interesting thing and a nice little segue for us there, because this is actually a different structure. Obviously, I've done some tournaments in the past with the EMS, but we're actually working differently today because there isn't the knife round. Can you explain that? Just kind of how that comes about?
Knife round has kind of become the standard of how you pick the sides, and some teams take it very serious and some teams don't. And a lot of it And a lot of it does depend on what map, right? But the way the veto system works is obviously we have 5 maps, the 5 standard ones, and higher seed gets basically to start the process, and they can either veto a map, the first one, or defer the veto. So basically, it ends up to because what happens?
A mind game,
yeah,
right?
it starts as a little chess game because at the very end of it, whoever has the last veto, the other team picks the side.
Yeah.
So, for example, I want you to pick nuke so I can pick CT, right?
Exactly.
So you have this little chess game that's going to happen on all these vetoes. And eventually when we get to the big stage, it'll all be part of the show where the captains do a veto thing and we'll show you all that. But today, basically, we're just going to get told what the map was.
Which map gets chosen. And I think that's important as well because as the kind of the play goes out, they're already basically starting off this kind of, as you mentioned, this chess game. Right from the get-go. So I mean,
mind games.
There's going to be a lot of intensity on the teams. And again, I mean, if I look at these teams, they're all teams that they have the potential to, on their day, fire well, do well, and take home some serious cash prizes. Looking at that $250,000, I can't say it enough. It sounds crazy. I mean, $250,000. What do you need to do to make a $250,000?
Yeah.
Anyway, how does the money actually break down on that?
And again, it breaks down just like DreamHack winners. So it's great. So first place, 100,000, easy $100,000, about 20 grand a guy. Can't beat that, right?
That's not bad for 4 days' work.
Yeah. Second place, 50 grand. third place 22,000, fifth to eighth place 10 grand, and then ninth to 16th will each take home 2,000, and that's per team, obviously, not per player.
Yeah. Definitely.
Still,
nice numbers.
I mean, we used to lose our minds at this second place. If the whole prize push was 50 grand, we'd be like, whoa.
We were talking about that earlier. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that if somebody says to you, hey, we've got a nice prize purse of $25,000, people would say, sounds like a great tournament.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that. I mean, this is really pushing the bar, which is awesome.
It's amazing.
Two people that are definitely going to push the boat, absolutely push it out, are the always lovely and the always wonderful Lauren, and of course the very wise Jason Kaplan. So let's pass over to our caster crew. Scott, I'm excited. We'll be right back. But for now, Jason, Lauren, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Sean. And what a brilliant start to things. As you said, big prize pot, big event, and big teams. And I don't think there's any way we could have started this off better. Ninjas in pajamas, who doesn't love those guys, up against 3D Max. Now, I think we need to kind of come to the fact that we are here, in the finals now, and this is a huge event. How are you feeling going into this?
I'm actually really excited. Just to have 16 of the best teams in the world going head-to-head with this big of a prize pool, if we even compare it to just all the other games that are being played here at Katowice, it's the highest prize pool. And considering you have between first and second place $50,000 difference, that is ridiculous. And everyone is bringing out all the stops right now to really kind of surprise their teams and take home that 100 grand.
Well, you've kind of got a bit of a good kind of view of the overall scene right now, just especially what's happening here. But let's kind of talk about the matchup we've got coming up, because NiP 3D Max, I guess you could look on paper, look at the names, and you go, well, it's NiP's game. But they do have some history here. You only have to look back to a couple of the dream hacks to see that in the group stages, 3D Max under their previous title with the likes of Nico caused real upsets. I think it was like a 16-2 affair or something along those lines. I think it was Nuke, which is such a stronghold for NiP usually. But it's a very different NiP now. It's a very different 3D Max now. But there's been some closer games as well where they've actually met up.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because back in the fall season of EMS One, they played in cut number 2, and it was quite a huge stop. I believe it was like 16-1 in favor of NiP. I don't know the map actually in particular. Couldn't really check out that VOD, but it was a landslide. But the real question now coming into this is, it's obviously not the same 5 people from Western Wolves on 3D Max. They have 2 new people, and it's up to them to kind of really show up. I mean, this is their game to really win.
Yeah, and they have to, as you said. This is a big moment for those guys. And in the game, when actually facing against NiP originally, I think it was Glaive who stepped up massively, claiming a huge scoreline at the end of that. So, as a team leader, it's quite rare to see someone so involved. Normally, they take a fairly back-seated position.
It's really
we were talking about it earlier, weren't we?
It's really interesting because, like you're saying, they want to take a backseat position, not really pick up all the frags, really be the mind of the team.
Yep.
But he was pulling out all the stops.
Yeah,
and right now, if we're to look at the 2 key players from both teams, it's going to be Glaive easily on 3D Max.
Yes.
And then you have to say Fifth Laren on the side of NiP. I mean, if we just compare the callers alone, Fifth Laren now coming into this, taking over Exist role, and then Glaive, the old timer, the guy who's probably one of the best, if not the best, strat callers in the world right now. It's going to be really hard for Fifth Laren to kind of really deal with that. But he has so many weapons in his arsenal that he doesn't necessarily be making the best calls. As long as they hit the shots, then the strats really don't matter.
See, and the thing I also want to keep my eye on is how Exist now plays. Obviously, having that pressure relieved from him as the team leader previously for NiP, has he been able to kind of fulfill the potential that you kind of get given when you have that kind of pressure taken off your shoulders? So hopefully he steps up, quite drastically. Phenomenal player. I don't think anyone's going to expect him to play badly. It's how good can he get? Can he reach the echelons of Forest or the Get Rights who kind of have that freedom to do their insane bits of play that they really do pull off? So I don't know where I want to put my predictions on this as well.
Because it even goes a step further than that.
It's a best of one.
But that's true.
Dangerous.
Anything can really happen, and usually it favors the lesser skilled team, if you want to call it. I mean, that way. Obviously, a best of 3, you have the chances to win a lot more if you're the better team. But if we look at how they train getting here, because we were talking about this quite a bit. I mean, it's NiP a complete 180, and I know you can easily explain what they're doing differently this time, and obviously the hopes for them to really pull this one out.
Yeah, they basically took a 180 from their previous attitude to these big events. Before they were quite introverted. They did their boot camps, and they were very quiet about it. They didn't play these online tournaments. They didn't play the offline tournaments that happened before maybe a huge event. And this time they've gone, all right, that really didn't work for us in our results, you can probably see. And they played absolutely everything they could. I don't think I saw a cup even happening without NiP somewhere in the mix. And clearly they'll be raking in the money for that. But this is a new attitude. This is going back to what works, which is practicing generally. You can't just depend on maybe just that boot camp to hopefully get you on that point. They're not messing around these days. So for me, it's, what has NiP changed? How have they done it? I remember speaking to Freiberg after a couple of the events, and he was genuinely disheartened after the losses in the previous EMS ones, excluding the first, obviously, that they won. But I want to see how they've changed. I want to see their attitude, and I want to see 3D Max cause an upset. I know it sounds bad, but...
I mean, because anything can happen in any of these groups, pretty much. I mean, they're so stacked, and, unfortunately for ESC, they didn't really have the chance to boot camp coming into this. I don't know how much practice they've gotten online, but they have to do something here, and we're getting this game underway. Yeah,
no messing around today, guys. We are live in game. I believe it will be Dust 2 that we will be watching. On the T side, it will be 3D Max, and on the CTs, Ninjas in Pajamas. So, prediction quickly from you. Who are you calling it with?
I have to say NiP. I really do. I mean, 3D Max, this is probably one of their toughest, if not the toughest matches coming into their entire group here. And if anyone's really going to, I guess, stomp NiP, I would say 3D Max is going to be it, but I don't know. It's just NiP, I mean, with this complete new schedule, they're looking very strong.
Yeah, and look at this A stack. Freiburg and a couple of the other guys literally all around there. I think they're doing pretty much a solo man B. And at the moment, we are seeing Glaive edging forward, Get Right, running with that newer kind of pistol. I'm not sure about my thoughts on it yet.
I've heard a lot of good things about it in terms of the pro players, but also a lot of pro players don't like it at the same time.
Bit hit and miss.
I mean, you lose the 250 for it, so kind of have to be really good at it, but it can make a lot of big plays here. And as we are counting this one down, a minute left here, it looks like 3D Max are going to go for a hit onto this A site.
Well, we are going to have to wait and see. The smoke has dissipated through mid. Glaive and Pimp are kind of edging around the idea, and let's bear in mind, obviously, they don't know there are 4 members of NiP waiting by A, or at least very close to. Decoy still shooting out there, really taking the time. Look at this long rotate. They are not messing around here.
They might be pushing into a major trap, though. To have 3 people in long A to really counter this, and one towards CT spawn exists already set up in the prime position. Flash is coming out. He's going to actually look for some good damage on the Glaive here with Forrest in the pit.
Yeah, Forrest has taken down MSL, so already just working that crossfire with Exist. But Roz has broken through on short, so he could cause trouble here if he can get out here in time, but Freiburg finding ALZ has not helped the matter.
It is not right now. We see 3 people alive left remaining for 3D Max here. 5th player down to 14 HP, and Glaive still working this catwalk here, but the bomb finally making its way into the A site. Force waiting for someone to just peek through to maybe get the planner here. With 9 seconds remaining, they have to hurry. They need to get the bomb down.
Yeah, they certainly do. They have just about managed, and we are seeing that retake coming in. Very cautious play from NiP, biding their time, pushing as a collective. There goes Exist, there goes Get Right, and they are taking that bomb site back without losing a member, even though they're in a bit of a tricky position initially. But they worked that out.
Yeah, they really did. I guess that flank off catwalk really caught them off guard, but credit to them. Force picking up 2 kills. Exist was able to hold on to that push with the help of Force at long A here. And it seems like they had a perfect read on 3D Max too, just to kind of go for that really ballsy 4-man stack towards that A site.
Yeah, that was extraordinarily impressive. So, NiP with the first round, 3D Max, they got the bomb down at least. They kind of worked it out. And, okay, let's be honest, they went into the worst site out of the 2. They hit the A site, which had the 4 players present. It's not exactly hard to get right rotating through. So, we have to see where this goes now. Bit of a 3-2 split at the moment, but whether or not they actually commit towards B, this is a bit of a more normal setup, I'd say, for NiP, but still, 3 men down by that bottom of A. They're really stacking this out. I'm curious to see how this one pans off. Those nades coming through. Obviously, they're leaving short just so open. They're happy leaving these guys to push up and play for the retake. Fiflaren keeping eyes on it here. The Flash giving away the game. He's going to back up, but still, 3D Max are giving, are being given enough room here, and they're all stacking up, and they look like they want to be going for what they did initially, and the push has begun. Yeah,
they started pushing in front, taking actually quite a bit of damage down to 12 HP, but you're seeing Exist back him up. Hasn't picked up a kill just yet, though, but AZ with the bomb, looking to get in his sight. And you see MSL finally fall. Bomb will get planted here in just a second, I would imagine, if they can survive this damage from Exist off towards this long A. He's getting the next man onto Pimps, but bomb down 2 rounds in a row, even on an eco. That is a fantastic play.
Yeah, beautiful play, and I think NiP strategies are almost allowing for this. They're not challenging on the sites, they're playing retakes, and they're doing the damage. Beautiful shot from Exist. This man is so clinical, even though obviously he's only got, pistol players against him, he picks up 3 anyway. And another clean round for NiP. They're not dropping members, they're playing safe, even though their strategy does allow for that bomb plant. Not losing single player is pretty damn impressive at this point.
I really like how you touched on the fact that NiP are more than happy to let them push through catwalk, and considering we're in this, double elimination kind of format, I think playing safe and, making sure that they feel confident, obviously, retaking the A site. Make sure to play safe, pick up the first win, because then you're 1 match away from getting into the playoffs.
Exactly, and that's all you got to be focusing on, round by round. We are seeing finally the T side, obviously with enough money to get the guns beside them. AK's full armor and helmet, and they're looking to do some damage this time. I want to see what they go for here, because they've been caught out by that A stack 2 rounds in a row pretty much. That retake on long has caused them real trouble. This time, however, NiP will not be doing the A hold like they were before. They're going to be putting 3 on B. They're playing really out of the box. I haven't seen this before, at least from NiP on a stage like this. So very curious to see what goes on here. Alzy's still playing it safe though, using those B tunnels, holding the push. We are seeing Fiflaren with the AWP, waiting for the short push. And he's reading it right. They are still there. 3 members, Rals, Pimp, and Glaive. Smoke will be coming down, locking off that CT spawn and pushing Fiflaren a little bit further forward. But will they make their move? You know, they're not committing. Bomb's just been dropped down for Pimp, so Fiflaren finds Glaive. That is a perfect opening shot here. And Glaive down, that's a big loss.
That really is. And, you know, if we think back to the fall season of EMS One in the finals, Fiflaren went monstrous against Mousesports on Dust 2 alone. And right now, he's starting to really step up here with that op. Definitely going to be protected on this catwalk push. He's going to get flashed up a little bit. He's going to miss the shot, but he will more importantly back away, wait for some rotates to come in. And again, for the 3rd round in a row, they're just going to play for the retake.
Yeah, and it's been working so far. But this time they don't have that A positioning. They've got a bit of a different start to the retake here. They've got Exist at long, Fiflaren at long, Freiburg and Forest clearing out mid, and those B-Tunnels Get Right joining as well. Whereas 3D Max are pretty much tucked into this site here. They've got very little room to breathe. Ace is probably one of the furthest forward players, and he's just on short. And here comes Forest looking to break through. He's caught a glimpse, but it's not quick enough. AZ has found Forest. Get Right comes in, Rals as well. They're making a fight out of this, Jason.
They really are. Get Right picks up a kill with that CZ though. MSL in sight gets taken down here. Pit, the last man, does get dropped here, and that will be NiP securing the 3rd round in a row, and finally losing out on 2 men after 2 rounds straight of not losing a single person. They do finally fall, but a great retake coming in. But then again, 3D Max, 3 rounds in a row, the bomb has gone down.
Yeah, they're still pretty good for cash at the moment, as you can see. You know, considering they've lost those 3 rounds, they're minimizing the damage, but if only they got a couple more kills.
That's very true, and I'm looking at the scoreboard right now. You know, AZ, he's currently has 1 kill for the team. Rawls has 1 for himself as well, and these are the 2 men we were looking at to really step up for their entire team. Like, they're the 2 new guys coming into the old Western Wolves lineup, and you see a 3-man push onto long, and Exist might get cut off guard here.
Well, let's find out. He's going to be mowed down by AZ and MSL in tow. And we're seeing NiP immediately swinging back around towards A. That A stack may be tested, but will they commit? And look where that bomb is. That is a huge point. Pimp's sitting with just that P250, taking his time. Get Right could be in trouble if he gets caught out here, if he overly rotates because they assume the A push.
And we are going to see Pimps be very, very safe here, as we do see Forrest pick up a kill on AZ. Glaive picks up on a Freiburg, and Get Right, he's actually transitioning into lower B here. Forrest has it found on A, but Pimps, he's running in. Has Get Right hurt him? He hasn't hurt him, but he's going to get in. He's going to get the bomb down on an eco round again, and that will now be 4 rounds straight coming in for 3D Max to pick up that bomb plant.
But Get Right's still in a great position. He's not going to be out-countered by Ralsden holding the rotate through mid. He was in the perfect spot, even though he allowed Pimps through then. So now Pimps left in a 1v3. He's got the P250. He threw out his flash. He's still got a grenade, but 3 players edging in. Forrest and Fiflaren are fairly low. But still, let's see how he does this one. Flash comes in, first is found, goes for the second, he's got the tag, he's got the frag, can he get the 3rd? 1v3 in the 4th round, it's not gonna happen. Of course, Get Right's gonna deny that bit of fun he had. And well, they made a solid attempt of that, and if he maybe caught a couple more seconds of a break, he could have done something, but still, not a bad start for him coming into this one, really. But, you know, at the moment, NiP are looking very strong on these retakes, even if 2 of their players did just get caught out there.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, they're not playing as aggressive as I typically like to see them, or they typically can be, but it doesn't matter. They're up 4-0. Winning, it doesn't matter how you do it, winning is all that matters right now. And
they've got a clean slate on the scoreboard at the moment. That's what they're going to be looking at. You know, NiP, the danger for them, I'd say personally, is in these best of ones. They're a team that can be caught out on occasion. So this is where they need to be solid as a rock here. And we are seeing 3D Max looking a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive here, but there is still 3 men of NiP looking down towards long A here. They're just going to give away that initial spot. And Exists, you know, we were questioning him whether or not he's going to step up, not be the strat caller. He's currently 5-1 right now. So doing a fantastic job of really picking up his aim here, but I like the way 3D Max are playing. They're playing very fluid. They realize we can't push into a certain area. They back away, they go somewhere else here. As you just see Pips pick up the kill in the Forest, and now Exists in a very bad position.
Yeah, interesting to see NiP going almost like face-checking down towards long, even though they only had one player fully present. Exist and Fiflaren, as you said, just go face-check. Nice little shot there finding Pimps in pit, but can they find the rest now? Fiflaren needs to step out, and he has, and they are mopping the floor with the bodies of 3D Max as they've just gone so aggressive on long.
Yeah, fantastic play. Also great crossfire coming in from Fiflaren and Exist right there, but look at MSL. He is pushing in through middle. He's looking for a kill. He's going to actually push straight into B here. But there is 1 man waiting. King of Spray, Get Right. Gonna pick up the kill yard, imagine, as he does get that one eventually. And that will take it now 5 straight for NiP here.
I feel for 3D Max at the moment. I really do. They've been getting so close. It's like, okay, how many bomb piles do we need to get?
They can taste the victory of a round.
Exactly. It's so close, and then NiP just pulls something out crazy. You know, when they pushed down along, I was surprised they went for that existent for Flaren. You know, they lost their player down by pit, and then they just went and face checked almost. They're like, okay, we know where we're at. We can handle this. They look confident. They look securely confident. They're not playing that outwardly aggressive game that sometimes works. They're playing that comfort zone, just playing it cool, playing it calm. And once again, we're seeing Exist going for the bit of the spray down, gets caught out by AZ. That is A-Long open. And now Flaren once again tasked with the job of locking this one down. He does still have that orb to hand and a lot of time to work with, but he's got very little backup, and that flash, and oh my god, they're breaking through here, Jason. They could do some real damage.
They've made a push on it. They've got the 2 kills, but look at this. NiP, they're sending 2 men up middle. We have currently 3D Max backing away from long A. They're going for the switch, or the quick rotate towards B here, and they actually might catch them out. No, instead they're just going to get for the complete runaround. And if you do see, I believe that's MSL already waiting in tunnels, waiting for this push to come in. And this might be 3D Max finally getting their piece of the cake.
Maybe, but NiP are in a dangerous position. Get Right and Freiburg, I think they're both unspotted if I'm not mistaken. Could now catch out AZ, who's just plowing through long. He's going to be found, but both positions now giving away. B is clearly open for the taking, and that is exactly what 3D Max are doing. They're going to get in there, get that bomb down, and have time to set up. Ral's in a just curious position. He's hanging back quite far, so might catch anyone who goes through tunnels. But right now, Freiburg, Get Right, and Forest need to do a lot of work here.
Yeah, they're going to be playing for the retake yet again here. They've been able to pull it off 5 rounds in a row. But can they do it on sweep number 6 here? And we do have Get Right trying to look through window, trying to look for one man, trying to find that first initial kill. He does get naded out. MSL picks up that one, and now it's all in the hands of Freiburg and Forest. Can they turn this one around? Looks like Freiburg going to push straight into the window, getting taken down by MSL again. And that will be 3D Max finally picking up their first shot, and MSL picking up 3 kills for himself.
Beautifully played. Now that was the difference. They had guns, they got time to set up, and they just locked that the hell down. And I like the way they didn't go, okay, A's open, let's just make a, let's go for this. As soon as Flaren, struggled and fell, it was the change up, and they didn't just rush for it. They didn't just go, okay, yeah, let's just get a bomb down on A. We've got a chance. They took it smart. 3D Max certainly not out of this, and we are seeing Forest actually picking up the op. He's got a glimpse on, doesn't land the shot, however, and Get Right's aggressive little peek has to back away. As 3D Max are making their move once again on long, but this time NiP are backing the hell up.
Yeah, they have definitely let that one go here. Looks like they're more comfortable, maybe hold on to that catwalk position, but I really love what 3D Max are doing. They're leaving that one man at B. They're trying to stop that floater Get Right position, or role that he always seems to play, and he hasn't been extremely effective in these rotates, really coming around and getting the flank on them, but it's been working out so far, and you can see they're still waiting in middle, and they're still waiting for their moment to strike here. Currently 5-1 scoreline for NiP, as we are into the first game of Group B currently.
Joe, I love
those are awesome.
You got to be representing your own team. It'd be a bit awkward if you came with an NiP sticker on your AK, you know what I mean? It's like, jeez, guys, but no.
Even Freiburg sported one for himself. You guys should pick those up. Those are really awesome, but here we go. The push is going to come on a catwalk, and it looks like Exist and Fifth Flaren are the 2 men to hold on to it.
Well, they were. Now Flaren's been taken down, as has Exist. MSL and Rounds are breaking through, and Forest has been smashed by Glaive. And that is the A site almost open, but Freiburg's still in their way. He looks like he doesn't want this fight right now.
He definitely does not here. He's going to back away from this one. I'm actually wondering if they might say this. They don't have a lot of money to spend, so it looks like they might, in fact, go for that here. But if only they knew the health, just at least what we can see on the side of 3D Max. I mean, that's very possible, but just going to play for the safe game, play for the long road here, and just try to maintain these guns, which honestly is a smart move.
Yeah, Get Right and Freiburg, they're just going to lock this one down, chill out, and play calm. Glaive and Pim are going for the walk around, but I don't think they're going to get this away from them. We're going to find out right now, because Freiburg's actually very close. He's pushed aggressively. Pimps could pick this one up. He's going to get the spray down, but Freiburg picks up the kill. Now Glaive spinning back around. Oh my god, he's dancing with bullets here, but he will be finally taken out by Get Right. But they did lose Freiburg then, so NiP maybe not going to be able to retain that completely clean slate here.
Yeah, very true. And you know what I really loved about that end of that round was Glaive and Pimps were the ones to rotate and look for him. They were the ones with the 100 HP. They let the 3 men with the, obviously the subpar HP stay alive, keep their guns, build up their economy here, and they're starting to really get a lot going for themselves. We have currently a save coming out of NiP here, and this will be obviously the first time of this first half that they will be forced to do that here. But again, 3D Max just going to play it safe, and we see that 4-man stack.
Yeah, I was about to say, look how long right now. NiP, they've only got Get Right with that M4 retained from that prior round. And well, let's see if this can be put to any sort of good use, because 3D Max have switched this up straight away. Through mid they go, not messing around. Flash is coming over, and they're making way towards the B side, which actually there's one player present. That player's been taken out. It was Exist, and now B is open for the taking.
Yeah, fantastic job. And Force does pick up a kill on MSL though, so that might open up a potential gun for themselves, but that is down in doorway. And I really want to give a lot of credit to Glaive. He has not flinched currently with this 5-round streak that was for NiP. They picked up 2 straight now, looking for the 3rd here, and they have the manpower to do it. We see Glaive pick up the kill over into tunnels. Let's pick up a 2nd on the get right. And Forrest and Freiburg, I'm not sure I can be able to do this one. Forrest just going to run away with the gun, and Freiburg going to fall back as well.
Probably the right choice being made then. As much as I'd love to see these guys do something insane, we've seen how effective, wow, ouch, 3D Max can be once they lock down B, especially with weapons, let alone against NiP without them this time. So, yeah, I think reading this one right, hopefully Forrest will manage to stay alive. I don't think he's got too much of a challenge here. Glaive was the only player remotely close. So, got to give credit to 3D Max here. They had a bit of a shaky start, let's say. You know, NiP looked almost untouchable, not losing players in you know, back-to-back rounds. But now they're breaking back in, 5-3. You know, that's not a bad scoreline so far.
And something's really starting to stand out for me, Lauren, that you mentioned earlier on. When they played against him at Nuke in the group stages of DreamHack, who was the top man? Who's the top fragger for Western Wolves then?
Glaive.
And currently right now, he's a top fragger, 7-6. That is a good sign if you're a 3D Max fan. Not a good sign if you're obviously with NiP here, but they have a lot of rounds to really claw back. We do have that full buy finally coming in for NiP here.
Yeah, Geralt gets dinked to hell. He's down to 25 HP already. He's going to back the heck up. There's no way he's going to be challenged that one out. So he's now going to be tucked in towards that B site, but it has left mid fairly vulnerable. Rals could make a play through this. They know they've had to, you know, force him back if they heard that dink, if they saw that guy back away. And Forrest now having to pick up the mantle, so bit of a shuffle round for NiP.
Yeah, and they're starting to really switch up their strategy. They did send 3 men quickly towards long here, but here comes the smokes up middle. Looks like 3D Max are actually going for a push on the catwalk, and there's really only 1 man there to stop it. I believe that is Fifth Flare and waiting over towards car.
Yeah, they've got to exist pretty far back by Pit, but still, it's going to be for Flaren initially. He's going to be the hold if they go for it, but they faked it out. They're backing away. They forced Freiburg and Forrest to pay attention through mid. But can they get any penetration? You know, 3D Max are toying with them. They're using those smokes, those flashes, you know, even just the basic sound in this game to draw NiP away from their comfortable zones. At the moment, it looks like this 5-man stack towards B is going to be the zone to be here. We are still seeing Geralt standing tall, taking 2 down. Can he make it 3? He has made it 3. That's the hat trick for Geralt, but he's finally taken down by Rals, but left in a 4v2. This is not looking good for 3D Max.
And they had bombed down as well. Freiburg even came in through double doors to really back him up. They pick up the kills. They still have 3 men remaining. Rawls, the last man standing in a 1-on-3. Can he really do anything about this? He has 2 kills already. Can he pick up the potential ace here? Fifth Flare does shut him down, and that will be NiP finally taking around back to themselves after losing 3 straight.
Yeah, and I love the way that NiP then had the disadvantage of the fact that Geralt got dinked to hell, so he backed away to B, and it's like, okay, well, what else can I do here? Allow me to take down 3 members of the opposition, even at a massive disadvantage. So once again, Geralt, you can't deny a man like that. 6-3 scoreline though. NiP not having clean rounds this time though. I think we need to say that here. They're not having an easy time with this. 3D Max are certainly pushing it. We are seeing is that a 2-2 split or a 3-2 split?
Looks like a 3-2.
Yeah, it's a 3-2 by A. Yeah, there we go.
And, you know, you were talking about 3D Max. They've been playing really passive in some rounds, really aggressive in some rounds, and that's just all Glaive right there, really making the calls, really trying to work around NiP's strategy, figure them out, and honestly, it seems like he's finally been able to do it so far.
Yeah, he certainly has been. So let's see what 3D Max go for here. They've got the presence in mid. They've got, you know, a couple of players in the tunnels, but you can see NiP are just taking their time. They're not, you know, going for the aggressive peaks. They're playing slowly. They're playing carefully. Forrest toying with the idea of checking through those double doors. He's going to do so. He's going to find Glaive. So that's the first member down for 3D Max in this round, and such a key player as well. And look at the immediate response from NiP. They know where these guys are going. Geralt is in position. He gets 2, and now just 2 standing. Freiburg comes in, and now Pimps gets decimated for another hat trick going to Geralt. 2 rounds in a row now.
And they had the perfect read right there too. They realized, all right, 1 man came through doors, and they sent Geralt straight into B.
Instant reaction.
Yeah, and he threw the flashes down knowing they were coming. Complete shutdown, fantastic job, and NiP looking to come out of this first half with a lead here. Only 1 more round to go for that one here, and we're gonna have Pimps actually. No, he will have a gun eventually there. But this is a really tricky round. They have a lot of money to spend, and they do finally have that cash flow coming of losing consecutive rounds here. But they're sending 3 men quick in a long game. We do see Fifth Flare and pick up the first kill, and they do shut that aggression down.
Yeah, certainly. And maybe 3D Max just trying to like brute force their way in. MSL has found Forrest.
Oh, wow.
And found Exist. So let's not write this one out yet. Glaive doing work as well, finding Fifth Flare, and these guys are really breaking through. Just Freiburg and Geralt left. We can't write Geralt out because last time, in the last 2 rounds, he's got 3 players. But is he in the right spot to be doing this right now? He's pretty much in the middle of the storm here. The rest of the 3D Max guys are going down on the side, but look at Freiburg. Round the back he goes. Does find MSL on his way. 3v2, that's still possible for NiP.
It's very possible. We're seeing Geralt pick up another kill right there. Rawls, the last man standing now on catwalk against Freiburg, and Geralt in a very bad position. He's going to keep spamming those flashes. He's going to push in, look for the diffuser. NiP was waiting, going to get the defuse here and take their 8th round, securing their first half lead.
Yeah, and you've got to be kicking yourself for losing rounds like that. Freiburg going on that long flank rotate was beautifully played. Get Right kept enough of their attention, and they just really pulled it off. And if I was 3D Max, that's when you get frustrated.
The thing was,
you lose rounds like that.
Rawls was in middle. He was in lower tunnel waiting for someone to rotate through it, and he was just there a little bit too late. And Freiburg was able to get around, and just the cash amount. You see finally when 3D Max starts to pick them up here, but there's pretty much hills and valleys right now.
Well, it certainly is. So into the 12th round we go. 8-3 is the current scoreline. NiP looking fairly solid here. Some close rounds, however. So let's see how this one kind of unfolds. We are seeing another A-long push coming through. Just pistols with the T-side. They managed to pick up 1 kill on the Forest, but I don't think they're going to walk away with much more than that. But look how low Exist has gone. 1 HP, and he's still hanging around. But still, I think this could be a clean slate almost here, just losing Forest. So the last member we picked up, which was Glaive. Quite an easy one for NiP, and I don't think they're going to be struggling after that.
Yeah, definitely, and they're going to have quite a bit of money to spend, continually spend throughout their rounds here, as they do have a buy finally coming for 3D Max. A little bit surprised to see the lack of ops actually come in for 3D Max.
Yeah, they don't seem to be enjoying the idea of it, which is kind of curious, but we'll see how that one goes and see if they actually make anything from it. You know, if it could be maybe a game changer, but then again, the way the Or's been played by Fiflaren, it's not been something you can necessarily challenge out with the match. He's generally been on A, he's generally been watching short. This time, just to shut me up, he's gone mid, and he's right to be doing so, actually. There's at least 2 players present here. That's why you can find it. Very different ordeal as Glaive has managed to slip through towards short. Look at A, Forest still tucked into the corner. So no real threats just yet to either side. They're pretty much missing each other. But this seems almost like the very start of this game where 3D Max were allowed up short. They were allowed to push A, but finally these smokes are holding them back. No one wants to kind of silhouette out of that one. So for Fiflaren, Forest, and Exist still on A.
I like the position.
Yeah, it's a nice little crossfire they've got here. Forest just tucked in, playing it safe, literally holding the push. Fiflaren's got the peak, and Exist has long. That's all you need. And we are seeing that push starting to form. The flashes are coming through. Rels, Glaive, and Alzi all just pouring in towards A, towards Fiflaren, who's already found one. Can he make any more of this, and will they expect Forest?
Forest he's looking for. He's going to actually pick up one, looking for the second. He does have that med flash, so picks up a third right there. A fantastic shot. And Forest, that secures at least a hat trick here, as MSL now the last man standing over in middle, going to get taken down. And that is Ninja Pajamas now 10-3 here in this first half. Amazing shots coming out of Forest.
And it was just the setup that I loved then. It was Fiflaren going for the peak. He was, being the more aggressor.
Yeah.
And then just, knowing that they'll push through, he'll fall back. He might fall, might die during the, the effort of it. But you put Forest there.
He was calm.
Yeah, it looked
amazing.
Chilled. Forest just held it tight, didn't overly peak too soon. He waited for them to be in the perfect spot, and there's your hat trick. So 10-3 at the moment. If you're 3D Max at this point, I don't know if I can keep myself fully pumped for this, but it does seem as though they're just going hell for leather. Glaive just flying towards Freiburg. I'm not sure if that was the best choice possible, but still, they seem to be getting frustrated at the moment, and Pimp's the only one to pick up a kill so far. They are just giving NiP pretty much kills, and Gerai facing down Pimps will be assisted by Fiflaren in the end. But that was pretty much just a rush, and let's get this round over with.
And they had guns too, though, which was really weird. I mean, I guess they're trying to catch them off guard with super aggression, but score says differently, unfortunately, for them.
I kind of want to hear the comms coming from 3D Max, if we could. It's actually on my side, ignore me. But we will when that gets working, listen to that one. But look at this mixed buy coming out as well. It's not looking good for 3D Max. All of a sudden, NiP have just been claiming these, not sloppy rounds, but just the kind of ones in between. There's not these, big impact ones, but they've just been building them up slowly and slowly. They do it, but 3D Max making their push on long, and they've been doing well until now. Fiflaren finally takes stand, but look at Forest. Once again, literally the ninja waiting for someone to push down, and the setup between Forest and Fiflaren has been perfect so far.
He's now the ninja in pit, instead of Pajamas right there, is able to pick up that kill. That one came to my mind. As Forest picks up a second, though, and looking for the third. Actually, we'll have Fiflaren off to his side to help him out. And it should be potentially another round here, but Freiburg has been taken down. We do see Ross pick up another huge kill here, and they might be able to turn this around. It's now a 2-1-2, and they have the bomb. Currently at long A. He's trying to help him out here as Force still tucked in pit. Does actually get taken down by AZ. And Get right now, the man of the moment. Can he pull off this 1v2? And AZ and Rouse, these are the 2 men coming into the team that really need to step up, and they've been doing it so far this game. And securing this round would definitely be a big help to them.
Certainly would be. Bomb now down on A. Get right. Certainly a player capable of a feat like this. And now he's going into a really well set up team. Rolls and AZ. Just got him out then, I think, so you're going to have that nade coming through.
Ooh.
That's going to find AZ. This means game on now, 1v1, but the clock is ticking. You can see Rails there tucked away where Forrest was not too long ago. He's going to be peeking out. He's going to be trying to play this one carefully, but he's got the tag, not going to get the kill. Get right, somehow undoing that situation, picking up 2 at the end. Good halves are said, and there's the bomb defused. Big scoreline for NiP already.
I think we saw in that last round as well, in that last bit of a 1v1 fight, Get Right was calm again. It seems like the entire NiP team is just calm, the way they've been playing the entire time, and he finished 21-3 in the end of that first half. But you saw, unfortunately for 3D Max, they were a little bit too aggressive there. They didn't play calm. Maybe it's just the general mindset of the team at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel they rushed a lot of those rounds. You know, as we saw them just kind of flying in towards B, they weren't as meticulous as before when they were really taking their time. They slowed it down. They played well. You know, when they opened up on A and they got the bomb down several rounds in a row, they're doing really nicely then. But it just seems like they kind of got frustrated by Get Right, constantly be on the flank. Freiburg, doing that flanking maneuver down long was absolutely beautiful. I definitely could have watched that one back. But the scoreline's not impossible. 12-3. It's only a little bit one-sided, but. When Get Right's on point, what can you do? 21 kills.
Not much.
What can you do? You can't stop that man. He's just an absolute monster when he gets like this, And I quite like the setups they were running with. The small kind of micro crossfires they had set up on these sites were really working well. Fiflaren, Forrest, and occasionally Exist would come in, just leaving kind of Get Right and Freiburg to do the B mid thing. Forrest floating back over on occasion. It worked really well for them, and at the moment, this looks like NiP have been doing their prep correctly.
It also seems like 3D Max, like they've been on the brink of winning a round so many times in that first half. There were so many different positions. I mean, Pimp, he came up in a 1v3, took down 2 men, couldn't get Right, unfortunately, in the last second, but they've had a lot of rounds that they could have potentially have taken that the scoreline might look actually a lot different. Might be 10-5, might be 9-6 kind of thing. Not to mention the momentum you build off of that, but going to the second half, they have to do something big here. They're looking at already being down their first loss in this group stage.
Yeah, and I do want to say, though, the 2 new members, they didn't top frag in this, but they did well for 3D Max. They didn't do badly. They didn't let them down. AZ and Rals, Rals sitting on 7-12, I think, in the end. So second highest fragger, only to Glaive, probably. So, they did fairly well for themselves. But, what can you do? As we said, when NiP are on point, NiP are almost untouchable. So we're going to be seeing the switch up here, so it will be NiP on the T side this time, and the CT side will be 3D Max. But the scoreline staying the same, 12-3. It's a daunting task.
Yeah, it definitely is. And right now, it's a little bit worrying because Pimp, he's the big man to really step up as well. I mean, yeah, he's not the caller, but he puts up so many big numbers, and right now he's been shut down almost completely here. And 3D Max sending 3 men over towards B. She's 2 rushing straight into lower B, and they have 2 men over long. They're gonna give away Catwalk here, but they pick up a big kill. Glaive picks one up on Exist, and they might be able to pick up this first round here, which would be huge if they lose out on a pistol.
But look where Get Right is. He's doing a Get Right pretty much. He's around the back of the entirety of 3D Max, who are completely focused in on A because NiP didn't stop. They didn't go for the exchange. They went straight in for the plant there. So Bomb is now down. Fiflaren staying on the site. AZ, Glaive, and Pimp all working up long. This is a very unique hold for NiP. They're going on the rotate. They're not challenging Flat. It's just Fiflaren on the side. AZ breaking in, and they're making this work. 3D Max have a solid chance here, but Freiburg takes down AZ, and they're looking to make this one a challenge.
And they do throw it over to Rawls right there. Actually has the kick. Get Right trying to rush in. She gets taken down here. And that would be 3D Max actually keeping their hopes alive. If they lost that pistol round, they probably could have just called it quits for them in this first map. Or, yeah.
Pretty much. There's, once NiP get rolling, if they got that money behind them, if they got that ball rolling, as you said, they'd start snowballing, and then it's almost game over. But picking that one up has given a glimmer of hope here.
Yeah.
But gotta say, NiP, they're playing out of the box here. That wasn't their standard kind of play. They went straight on the rotate down towards shore. They played really uniquely. So curious to see how this works. But we are obviously seeing 3D Max with a hell of a lot of guns.
The thing is, I mean, NiP, they have that 5-day boot camp.
Oh, Glaive.
Glaive is in prime position right now. If he can push up lower B right now, or maybe pick off 1 man who is actually going to be forced peeking down. Is he going to get the kill? He's going to push in slowly here. He's actually catch the backside of him, actually start spraying down. Let's get one. As MSL picks up the kill on the other side of the tunnel. Gets Get Right, looking for a third here, but gets taken down. Freiburg picks that one up here now. Rawls trying to hold on, picks up the kill into Freiburg. As Exist, last man standing with 17 HP. I don't believe he's going to get the bomb down here, and he's even going to get flanked from the backside by Glaive. And it'll be 3D Max picking up a secured round right there, but if you look at the comparison between 3D Max and NiP coming into the second round, NiP didn't lose a man for the first 2 rounds.
Very true. But, they also didn't have Glaive with a P90 just running around lobby tunnels. So there's slight differences here and there. But, yeah, I don't think you can really expect to get much of a clean round against NiP. They always seem to play to be able to get at least 1 pick in essence. So I don't know, we'll have to see how this goes, but we are seeing a big investment from NiP running with the AKs here, so curious choice, maybe, you know, fully secured in what they're doing now. They know where these guys are. They've had 2 rounds maybe to work it out. Maybe they're comfortable. So, Forrest chilling back, just taking his time with that AK, spamming through. You don't see them making the move. They're just going to be controlling mid for now then. They're not going anywhere too specific. But look at Glaive and AZ as well. They're playing pretty close to the marker. Glaive not committing fully either way, but I'm kind of curious to see how this one kind of pans out.
Yeah, we do have NiP going to be working up catwalk here. Freiburg actually might spot that first man out. Doesn't get the kill, and they're going to start to just back away from this instead. Not really feeling too good about those nades or maybe flashes coming in here, but it is Freiburg still pushed them on catwalk here. And they're playing it very slow. They realize we have a lot of rounds to work with here. No need to rush anything. And we still have them. It looks like they will commit for that A push here.
Yeah, and considering how heavily they invested into this, it's a good idea to be taking it carefully, but Glaive and that P90 could cause trouble.
Yeah, especially if they rush into this site here, but Pimps, you watch you from car here, the flashes and smokes are coming in here in just a second. Glaive in the closet waiting for the prime position to throw that flash out and actually peek out at the same time. And we'll have him actually go for the peek here just a second with that P90, but he gets taken down. Freiburg pushed up too quickly.
Yeah, indeed, he had no chance then. Pimps was smoked and flashed out. He couldn't see the crossover. So he's, you know, he was pretty much stuck there. And by the time he turned around, it was too little, too late. But Pimps has found Freiburg. But Exist replying back and forth we go. But 3D Max actually coming out on top here. 3v2 now. Fiflaren and Get Right to lock down the plant. They just put down. Fiflaren very close actually to the site. Bullets coming in. I'm not sure if he got spread out then, but he's going to make his move. Finds one. Gerai gets another. They're turning it around again against the odds. And there we have it. Gerai hops up, gets the kill, and turns this one on its head.
Yeah, fantastic job. And fortunately, 3D Max, with the guns they had, that P90, I guess Glaive just wasn't in the right situation. Maybe that he wasn't told enough information quick enough because he had the enemy team right behind him as he was just starting to flash out. And that's really unfortunate. That position could have actually turned around for them and actually kept him in it. But right now it looks like they will be saving up here. And they do have a decent amount of money to spend, but they're still obviously trying to play for that win here.
Yeah, certainly are. 13-5 though. Daunting scoreline. Rel's getting aggressive through mid. We are seeing, you know, the 3D Max guys, they're not just running and gunning. They're going to try and pick this one up. Try and be careful. We are seeing Fiflaren finding, you know, the opener here. Exist following up as well. And this is just NiP being, you know, their surgical selves almost. And Glaive and AZ left.
And I don't really think they're going to be able to pick up too many kills, but I mean, we can just, I guess, talk just about the general kills that they do have. I mean, Glaive is 11-14 currently as Robert picks up another, and that is the last one going to Exist. But he's currently 11-15, leading his team in kills. We have Rouse actually 11-14, so the new man on the team really stepping up here. But the real story to me is still Pimp, 6-15. He was such a big player in Western Wolves throughout so many different things, and right now he just doesn't seem to be having the greatest of games.
No, he's not found his footing, maybe it's just not going his way. And, well, at this moment, they have to make it start going their way. 14-5. You're almost on the verge of, game point.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the best of one. There's no second tries here, really. So let's see what we can do. We do see the Molotov actually coming out, so interesting purchase there. Pimps picking up the AWP. Maybe, he can step up now. He's got that in his hand. Maybe that's what he's been waiting on. The money situation just hasn't really allowed it to happen.
And the thing is, I mean, every time 3D Max has played NiP, they had Nico on the team.
Yeah.
And he was such a core member of their team to really actually run the op and really lock so many different things down. But unfortunately, just having a tough time. Maybe Pimps with this op can really step it up and maybe take it to even or potentially the win here. But NiP, a lot of rounds to work with. Looks like they're playing really slow as well. And they do have Freiburg currently working up catwalk at the moment. Yeah,
they're not throwing away any chances here. NiP look very focused just from their game style. They're not messing around. We are seeing Pimps almost in the Fiflaren position from previous, and Freiburg toying with the idea of pushing up, but backing away. So it does seem as though NiP are making their way towards the A side. Get Right, Exist, and Freiburg all up on short. Could be walking into the eyes of this man very soon if they make a push out of this. For Fiflaren and Forrest, obviously, the other two down long. Raining in those flashes, we are seeing the push begin. AZ popping up and down, keeping them back at long. They're going to focus on this first. AZ finds Forrest, but Fiflaren already picking up AZ. This is going both ways. No team coming out clearly better off in this one yet.
Not just yet, but we're going to see the bomb get planted for NiP here in just a few as Freiburg picks up another kill. Fiflaren picks up the last one over towards long A. And now we're going to be at game point here. 15-5. In this first map of the day. Remember, we have quite a few games coming up throughout the rest of today total. And we're going to have, unfortunately for 3D Max, just a full, buy everything you can at this moment.
Yeah, pretty much this is, the last chance if they really want to step up here, because, I thought they could be a team to cause a little bit of an upset, to do something a little bit different, but at the moment it seems though they are just being kind of put down by NiP, and MSL being tagged is not going to help the matter. Forrest doing the early work, and he's just going to go aggressive towards those B tunnels, get the nade out, and now maybe slow it down, but 3D Max know this is their kind of final hurrah on this one at least. And Pimp's push out quite heavily on long. He's got some distance behind him. He's near on next to Forrest, who's laying in wait. And look at that spot. He knows these guys are getting frustrated. They're getting angry. And they might start getting a little bit anxious. And right now, Exist has found his way through by short. Does get tagged up, but doesn't get taken down. Finally does fall to Guy, but Freiburg immediately replies. There's the push out happening on long. Forrest just laid and waited for that one, just picked up like, yeah, that's no problem. But we are seeing a 4v3. And at the moment, it's in favor to NiP.
Well, not the 4v3 anymore, as that one click comes out of Freiburg, picks up the kill, and that is Get Right securing the game. They pick up their first match in the groups, and honestly, that was very one-sided. It was in a great fashion.
Yeah, the thing that I wanted to watch was how different NiP looked in this tournament to the ones I previously watched them in, and how their new kind of training regime has, given them maybe a new bit of life, and it's done something, and it's done it right. They're doing wonders, and they looked so clinical. That's the thing I want to point out. They looked so solid then.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. They barely lost players in the opener of this, in this game. They literally did not lose players for, I think, 2 or 3 rounds. And then finally there was, a 2-man pickup for 3D Max eventually. But they just look such, like a consolidated team now. And yes, this is the first game, but let's bear in mind, 3D Max have previously beaten NiP. It wasn't like this was going to be a walk in the park. This just looks like NiP are ready here.
The thing is, it's not like 3D Max looked terrible. I mean, they got the bomb down, I think it was 4 consecutive rounds in a row, start from the beginning.
Yes.
It's just they couldn't secure the rounds. Maybe it's just a little bit of a wake-up call. Maybe it's just warming up for today or something like that. But obviously they were going up against the losers of LDLC and Vox Seminar, and they have to win that game if they want to stay alive.
Yeah, most certainly. But I do believe we are ready to go back to our incredible hosts. So Scoots and Sean, take it back.
Lauren, Jason, thank you so much. That was a game. How are we going to say? Was that NiP firing on all cylinders, doing exactly what they do best, or did 3D Max maybe, underperform a little bit?
I think it's actually a combination of both, as easy as an answer as that is to say. Because again, obviously that first side 12-3, there was a glimmer of hope in the middle rounds. They put 3 together. But I think a lot of people looked at a score like this as probably the outcome. Again, like Freiburg said, obviously they're hungry. They're playing very much in sync. Good retakes. And again, but second side, and I say it a lot, and I was talking to Demon last night, and he's like, hey, you say any given Sunday too much at DreamHack, and I do. But this game, especially when it comes down to a best of one map, it is an any given Sunday.
For sure.
So 3D Max is a smart enough team to go, okay, well, they 3-12'd us. Let's do it to them.
Yeah.
And on the second side, they started strong. They got the pistol. They had to get the pistol. They did. But then, NiP basically said, all right, that's it. We'll give you one more round after that, and we're going to take this thing home. And they did. They played really well. Looks good for NiP.
It does look good for NiP, and obviously we talked a little bit beforehand. NiP doesn't have the pressure. They're not playing in front of any audience right now. They're really just focused on getting the job done. The guys seem to be really geared up for this. Their preparation going into this, do you think it was the right path? I know that a lot of people have been talking about, they've been playing in so many different tournaments. I know they boot camped a little bit before this.
Yep.
How do you think that's going to play in for them?
And again, every team kind of manages their training regime differently, and they find what works for them. NiP, before DreamHack winner, pulled out of everything. Didn't go anywhere, consolidated themselves, and they got second place. And this time, they've kind of played every online tournament. There's been a lot of online tournaments happening right before this, which is great practice. Are you really showing your strats, all those kind of things. But again, I think that when you can play in these other cups, it's kind of like a real boot camp. Instead of scrimmaging, you're literally playing matches that kind of count. And again, it shows less pressure on them from external sources. And again, obviously, one map, best of one, we'll see. But good scoreline for them, for sure.
A confident first game of them. I'm sure they'll be very, very happy with that performance. Let's have a look at the bracket as it stands now. We can kind of see what's going on and what's going to actually be coming up for us for the rest of the day. So obviously, the first one that we had here is NiP and going up against 3D Max. And then LDLC and Vox M&R will be playing each other as well. Now, do you think that the 3D Max is going to be feeling really, really downhearted after this, or that it's going to be kind of get themselves back into it?
Well, again,
can they pull their socks up, so to speak, and turn this around?
Absolutely. You know, and if you look on paper, you know, statistically, what should happen is Vox should drop down. LC should, in a perfect world, you know, on paper, beat them. So I think 3D Max will look at that and go, okay, they are unknown. They are from down under. No one really knows their play styles. But I think they're going to feel much more confident, obviously, than playing NiP. But again, it depends on map, it depends on side, all those things. It is nice to double elimination, but at the same time, you know, lose 2, barbecue, go home is no fun either on day 1, you know. But we'll see. But obviously, Ninja moves forward. And like I said, they take on the winner of the next match. We're obviously going to jump. We are
actually going to go over and look at Group A, which is one of the groups which, in the run-up to this, I was really excited about because obviously, you know, there's Very Games is now Titan. Obviously, I'm familiar with the guys from Very Games. That's something special. But there's also the ex-Asana Dragons now coming in as Hellraiser, and I mean that's got to be a big push to them as well. And I don't want to, you know, jinx things, but I mean, Asana Dragons, their sponsor, stepping out, them going out on their own. This is the moment to show, hey, you were a fool for losing, for letting us go. And at the same time saying Hellraiser is now a new team, but a force to be reckoned with. So this is kind of a stake in the sand for them.
Yeah, and again, I think every team you could look at and go, you know, we've got a lot to prove. You know, everyone said we're the number 3 team, we're the number. All these different storylines are happening, which is amazing. But this is a great one. It's just like you said, Hellraisers has a lot to prove. You know, basically they've built a brand new team, so they're going to want to do well here, to then use that to get sponsorships, to continue as Hellraisers. Virtus.pro, though, part of the Golden Five, a classic, like some of the best Counter-Strike ever played, some of these guys helped deliver. So, and again, they're from Poland.
Home team advantage.
They have to get out of this group. They have to play inside Spodek. I mean,
exactly. They've got to have that. They've got to have that moment, and that's got to be playing in their mind going into this. The pressure is
different pressure.
A different kind of pressure, but definitely a pressure that's turning up for them. And I think it's going to be a good game.
That's going to be a barn burner. I mean, this one again on paper, yeah, NiP should win that. This one, like. I would say maybe Virtus.pro if I was a predicting guy, but again, I think with so much to prove on both ends of this spectrum, should be a really good match.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and then we're going to come right back with what promises to be another phenomenal game. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back.